And the Oscar goes to Forrest Gump.
Gump. Arthur Schmidt for Forrest Gump.
Tom Hanks and Forrest Gump.
For Forrest Gump.
Eric Roth for Forrest Gump.
For the few that haven't seen the film, Forrest Gump is a 1994 American comedy drama film based on the 1986 novel of the same name by Winston Groom, directed by Robert Zemeckis, and produced by Paramount Pictures. It depicts the inspirational story of Forrest Gump, played by Tom Hanks, a small-town boy with innate intellectual disabilities who perseveres and ultimately receives blessings from heaven, creating miracles in multiple fields. After its release, Forrest Gump won 6 Academy Awards and many award nominations, including 7 Golden Globes, 8 BAFTAs, and 4 Screen Actors Guild Awards.
Life is like a box of chocolates. Forrest Gump used to say.
You never know what you're gonna get.
Some folks might call him simple, slow even, but Forrest, he saw the words differently. Like a fiddle dancing in the wind, his life took him on an extraordinary journey, a journey that mirrored the very soul of America itself. In the film, we meet him as a boy, running through life, legs churning against the Alabama sunshine. His mama, a woman of unwavering spirit, taught him a simple truth.
You have to do the best with what God gave you.
And Forrest did just that.
Congratulations, son. Mama was so proud.
After that, he went to Vietnam, where he formed an unlikely friendship with Baba, a shrimp-loving dreamer.
You ever been on a real shrimp boat? Shrimp is the fruit of the sea. You can barbecue it, boil it, broil it, bake it, saute it. There's shrimp kebabs, shrimp creole.
And Lieutenant Dan, a man hunted by war's cruel hands.
I didn't ask you to pull me out of there, goddamn you. Where the hell you think you're going?
Together, they face horrors beyond imaginations, yet amidst the chaos, Forrest's kindness shone through. He saved lives, earned medals, and even became a ping pong champion.
Ping pong. So I was in the special services.
Forrest obviously never changes. He's this guy who just, wanders through life telling the truth as he sees it. Everybody around him changes. So the two pivotal characters in the movie for me are the Jenny character and the Lieutenant Dan character, which are, they represent sort of like the human growth. They're like a metaphor for emotional growth in any human being, where you have to go through these different stages of different pain to come out better on the other end.
But through it all, his heart belongs to Jenny, his childhood sweetheart.
I had never seen anything so beautiful in my life.
A complex soul battling her own demons as she pursues her own life blindly.
The Jenny character, I thought, sort of represented the unfulfilled, the hole in the soul part of, an American generation of, not being able to find fulfillment in anything other than sex, drugs, rock and roll, whatever was going on at the time. And Forrest, he represented, the ideal of what, America was supposed to be, mom, God, and apple pie, right? And Jenny was the, the reciprocal of that in her character.
Jenny pushed Forrest away, times and again. Yet, his love for her remained constant, just like a beacon in her stone.
So you have two people who are totally polarized in their culture who are romantically attracted. That's great movie stuff.
Bob moves the camera a lot when he shoots his movies, but he's always moving it toward the focus of the scene. And so that's why it always feels natural, because you're always watching what you want to watch, because he directs your eye to what you should be watching.
A good movie shall pan your emotions. That's exactly what the cinematography of Forrest Gump does. It is not just about pretty pictures. It's about using color, light, and camera movement to tell a story and make you feel it in your gut. Think of Gump's childhood in Alabama, sun-drenched fields, the gentle sway of Spanish moss, and the golden glow of his mother's love, all bathed in warm, inviting tones that make you feel safe and loved. But life isn't always sunny. When Gum enters the Vietnam War, the world turns gritty and dark. The jungle is suffocating green mist, and explosions paint the sky with an angry orange. It's a stark contrast, showing the harsh reality of war and poignant moments. And the colors are not just for external settings. Remember Lieutenant Dan? After losing his legs, his world is full of anger and despair. But when he finally finds hope, warm hills surround him, symbolizing his journey towards healing. In this film, the camera too becomes a storyteller. Steadicam and tracking shots guide us through emotional shift. Long, unbroken shots are often used in this film, drawing you into intimate conversations, making you feel like you are right there with the characters. And sometimes, the strategic framing where the camera gradually reveals characters in their surroundings enhances your connection to their experiences. The clever techniques, such as storytelling during lonely moments and the use of two shots in conversations, deepen your understanding of the characters too. But Forrest Gump isn't just a beautifully filmed story. It's also a masterclass in special effects. Remember Gump shaking hands with presidents and interacting with John Lennon? That seamless blend of real footage and CGI is pure movie magic. And the war scenes, the explosions, the gunfire, they are so real, you almost feel the heat on your skin. And then there's the editing. It's like a gentle hand guiding you through Gump's life. Montage sequences whisk you through decades, while flashbacks and flash-forwards keep you guessing. Just like life itself, the narration becomes a bridge between past and present, drawing you deeper into Gump's world. The editing makes the film breathe with him, letting us to feel his heartbreaking experiences with Jenny, the gravity of the war, and the breakups and reunions with his dear friends.
Forrest Gump Suite is the theme song of the movie. When you listen to this, that melody, like a feather on the breeze, carries you right into his world. Also, what surprised me the most was the use of a lot of stimulating ambient sounds by the director. Take the Venom rain scenes. Forrest talks about the different kinds of rain, and the director paints them with sound.
We've been through every kind of rain there is. A little bit of stinging rain, and big old fat rain. Rain that flew in sideways. And sometimes rain even seemed to come straight up from underneath.
It is like he takes Forrest's words and turns them into sensory magic, drawing you right into the story with him. In fact, the Vietnam sequence was so memorable that it even started a music drop in media.
You got any good stories I could tell him about how cool Nam is?
You know, there's lots of things you expect in war. Carnage, the sleepless nights. But what they don't prepare you for is the incessant use of Fortunate Son.
Have you ever watched an action movie or TV shows with soldiers in helicopters with Creedence Clearwater's Fortunate Sons bearing through the air? Guess which movie did it first?
In the opening, Forrest sits on a bench in the park and recalls his life.
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates.
This shot was taken by the director intentionally placing a bench on the Swanee paved square in Georgia.
Day on, if I was going anywhere, I was running.
In addition, the fictional screen of Greenville, Alabama was actually filmed in the towns of Yearseed and Buffport in South Carolina. Hunter Island State Park in South Carolina was used as the backdrop for many of the war scenes in the movie.
See, you look at a scene like this, and how as an art director are you supposed to comment on putting a bunch of buses around in a giant hippie camp with tons of props in the background, as though that has any real meaning? And yet, that's not something that
you're really even going to look at. You absorb it, but it's just to try to be a natural way of saying that you're in this time period with those demonstrators.
The film features a wide range of settings, from the small town of Greenbow, Alabama, where Forrest Gump grows up, to the realistic and harrowing battlefields of Vietnam and the bustling streets of New York City. These juxtapositions add emotional depth, and the activity in each frame keeps it engaging. The background makes the setting feel authentic and never takes you out of the story. The meticulous attention to detail in recreating each setting, from the small-town charm of Greenbow to the grandeur of historical events, played a very significant role in the film's success. Forrest's wardrobe is a key and important element of his character and storytelling. In his life, he was able to adapt to different situations and has many roles. When he was a soldier, he wore an army uniform. When he was a pinball athlete, he wore sportswear. And when he met some important figures, he wore a proper suit. But whenever he returns home, he always wore the same outfit ever since he was a kid. A blue plaid shirt buttoned to the top and pressed cotton chinos. It represents that no matter how many bad things happen to him, whether it is the passing of someone he's beloved or Lieutenant Dan blaming him for saving him, he always stays true and honest to himself.
Did you know the film used quite a bit of visual effect to create some of its iconic screams? The feather in the opening screen was almost entirely CGI. When it lands on Forrest's foot, an actual feather is already there, and the practical and fake feather is then composited into one shot. It was a huge achievement in the era when computer special effects were just starting. But now, with modern editing software, it's a breeze. Here is our attempt at recreating the feather screen. First, we filmed ourselves waving a feather in front of a green screen. Then we filmed a tracking shot of where the feather should be and added in the post. The film also used the composite shot to make large crowds larger than it was. The crowd from the table tennis match, the football stadium, and in front of the Washington Monument were all drawn, and copy-pasted using computer software. At the time, these types of effect was quite difficult to do. Nowadays, it's so easy. You can even do it in Canva. Yes, Canva.
Forrest Gump is more than a film. It's a cultural phenomenon that has sparked deep contemplation about life.
Run, Forrest, run! Well, stupid is as stupid does.
Well, what is that supposed to mean?
I don't know, but the movie made like $500 million.
Even the seemingly simple saying about a box of chocolates has a deep resonance, reminding us of life's unforeseen sweetness and bitterness. Although critics have questioned its lighthearted approach to history or the complexities of its simple protagonists, but there's something undeniably charming about Gump's optimism and resilience, and the ripples of its influence extend beyond the screen, resulting in real-life connections. Remember Bubba's dream of starting a shrimp company? The first Bubba Gump Shrimp Company opened its door 2 years after the film, and there are now 39 of them all over the world. Even the bench where Gump shared his story became a Hollywood artifact, proudly displayed at the Savannah History Museum now.
Throughout its run, Forrest Gump made $678.2 million at the global box office in 1994. For comparison, it made more money domestically than this year's latest Marvel and DC film combined worldwide gross. To understand just how pivotal this film was to cinema, we must go back 10 years prior. In the 1980s, action films dominated American cinemas, achieving unprecedented box office numbers and merchandising revenue. These films would later be dubbed as high-concept blockbuster films. The plot would have a wide but simple to follow premise for a wide audience appeal, spawning numerous sequels to popular franchises such as Die Hard, Terminator, and Rambo. However, by the mid to late 90s, the market was so oversaturated with derivative action films and underwhelming sequels that audiences began to lose interest. Imagine that! Franchises that were once a global phenomenon, featuring iconic characters, are now reduced to endless cash grab sequels leading to audience disinterest. Sound familiar? Then came Forrest Gump. Its unexpected success marked a turning point in Hollywood, showing that human emotion and compelling stories mattered more than explosions and action.
When the movie was done, we thought, well, no one under the age of 35 is going to understand this movie. And then all of America came to see the movie, which was great. So then we figured, well, then no one in the international market is going to get this movie because, it's all about American history and it's got American colloquial, humor in it. And then it became this huge movie all over the world. So it must have touched some nerve that's beyond the historical part of America, and it was all about, I guess, the real human story.
Zemeckis' unique storytelling and perspective paved the way for indie, author-driven filmmakers to find mainstream success and define the next decade of Hollywood. Directors such as Quentin Tarantino, Danny Boyle, P.T. Anderson, the Coen brothers, and Wes Anderson. Nowadays, the popularity of franchise movies is slowly dwindling, and audiences are turning to original low-concept films. Just take a look at our own movie industry. After decades of action films, Malaysians are going out of their way to watch thoughtful and grounded films. Forrest Gump encapsulates what cinema is, to enter a new world for 2 hours and experience a story that moves us.
As cinema is such a beautiful language, and you have the gift of words, but cinema is a thing that deals with things beyond words, and it's so beautiful. And so to go with cinema is to go like the same kind of thing you go with music. But the intellect travels along with it. It's so fantastic. It talks to you, but not with words alone. So just go in open and just go in and have an experience in a different world.